Okay. Welcome, everyone. Oh, I see we have a chat. I just want to check on that. Welcome, everyone, to our gathering together this evening. It's been wonderful preparing for this time together and taking an even deeper sensory experience of spring around me the past few days and feeling it in my body. As you know, we are gathered here this evening to share in, firstly, celebration of spring and to gather as women and acknowledge the birthing that's happening at this part of Earth right now on this land here, and to also experience a taste of this upcoming spring retreat that we're having Collingwood on June 1st, and so that you can have a taste of that retreat as well. So to begin, I'd love if we can just connect and sink into our body, our breath through movement. So it's up to you if you choose to sit or stand. Either one will work just fine. If you have water, I just had a nice sip of my water, feel free to drink some water and nourish your body as you need throughout this time. So let's start by just deepening our breath, inviting ourselves into the fullness of this moment. Noticing how your breath dances its way through your body as you inhale. And as you exhale, notice how your body moves with the exhalation. We'll take a few more leisurely, conscious breaths. As you inhale, noticing if your shoulders rise as you inhale, or if you sense a feeling of expansion, widening, broadening. As you exhale, noticing any softening that happens with your exhale. And this next breath, if there's a sound that wants to come out as you exhale, feel free to allow sound to accompany your breath. Let's do a couple more like that. Breathing together with those who are also going to be listening to this recording later on in time. We welcome them here now. Maybe two more breaths like this. And this last breath, imagining welcoming all of yourself in this moment into your body, into this physical time. Exhaling. Beginning to make a few circles with your rib cage. Taking your time, see how slowly you can go to complete a circle. Doesn't have to be big, it can be very, very small. And make it so that it feels really nice, really juicy to make this circle. Continuing to take conscious, leisurely deep breaths as you circle around. There's no rush at all in this window of time. Let it be nourishment for your body, for your soul. And then if it resonates with you, begin to include maybe your shoulders in this circle, allowing them to move in their sockets, feeling that the way that they kind of glide in the joints. And if anything feels painful or sore, just back off a little and adjust so that it feels good. We're not trying to even really get a stretch right now. We're just greeting our body with our breath and movement. We're greeting the moment with our conscious movement, with our presence and attention in the micro movements. So if it resonates with you, you can change the direction of your circle now, and maybe spiraling back into a very small circle. Deepening your breath. Feeling your back body as you circle. We're often very aware of the front of our body, the front of our chakras, and we are a little ellipted into the front of our energy field. So as you circle, notice the back of your body, the back of your energy field. Notice what you can sense with your back as you spiral and your circle goes into your spine, the back of your rib cage. And if you want to invite your hips, this time your pelvis, to gently join this circle and move along with your ribs for the last few times around. If that feels good, go ahead and do that. And we'll take one more loop around in this circling. And when you're ready, slowly coming to stillness. If your eyes aren't closed, you can close your eyes or gently bring your gaze down to the floor, whichever is most comfortable for you. And we're just going to take a minute to scan the inner landscape of our body. Inside of our skin, noticing maybe one or two places that are carrying tension at this time or feel tight, or maybe even holding frozen or numb. And without judgment, as we scan and we notice that tension, just sending a breath into that place and continue to scan. Maybe as you do, you feel the way that your bones are floating inside of your flesh this time. You get a sense of the wetness in your body, the water in your body. Taking a deep breath into any other place that it's holding tight or taut in this moment. And always exhaling with sound if that's what feels good. And now just searching for one place in your body that feels open, expansive, or very relaxed. It could be your earlobes, the tips of your eyelashes, maybe your baby toenail. Just finding that place. And when you do, sending breath there. Imagining that as you breathe into this place that is so relaxed in this moment, that relaxation radiates out into the body a teeny tiny bit, a microscopic expansion of relaxation into the body. So 2 more breaths like this. And now just connecting either through your root chakra, the base of your pelvis, or through your feet to the earth, feeling your roots anchored in the wet soil beneath you, extending down into the earth, holding you grounded, steady, present. Maybe even noticing the pulse of the rhythm of spring in the earth beneath you, sensing it with your roots. And then when you're ready, you can begin to rub your hands together, or wiggle your fingers or toes, just bringing movement into the body. Gently opening your eyes and drinking in this image. That's my invitation to you now. We're going to be working with some images of spring. In this springtime here in Canada, I would say, I know we have people calling from different parts of the world. Let's see if we can connect with this image by almost drinking it in with our breath. So maybe you imagine that your cells could take in these beautiful colors of green. Maybe you can begin to smell, using your imagination, the smell of the forest and the plants and the vegetation of this place. So for this part of our slideshow, I invite you to notice which image or images really speak to you. And you'll likely feel some kind of sensation in your body when you resonate with an image. You might even feel physically drawn into the image. You might find yourself leaning forward. And if you have a pen and paper or a journal, you can take that and just jot down, once we begin, the image or images that speak to you. And I'll leave each one for a few breaths. Sorry, Emma. So just noticing if you did write in your journal or on a piece of paper, if you have a few of the images that spoke to you, choosing one image. And if you were without pen and paper, my apologies for not giving you an advance heads up about that. It was in my mind too. Just recalling which image really spoke to you, picking one, and then just asking yourself, what aspects of myself or my life does this image mirror back to me? And I'll just give us all a few moments to sit with that. And if you need more time, you can also continue that journaling or reflection at another time. I'm going to share a poem with you now from the book Gaia's Invitation, Poems from the Sacred Earth, by Andrea Matheson, who is here with us on our call. I am a mirror. Everything you see around you reveals some part of you. Look with loving eyes upon your world. What seems fixed will move in time, and what is fluid will pause. Keep looking. You will see the dance of life and feel its movement in you. And what I love about this book is that each of the poems correspond with a different plant or flower. And so this poem came through the cardinal flower. And there were two poems that I intuitively selected for our retreat to connect with the essence of our retreat. And this was one of them. And we will be interacting with nature, with tree beings and the animal kingdom, stone people, whoever we feel drawn to, but elements of our retreat will be interacting outdoors and noticing what draws us. And this retreat is also about bringing movement into the places that are held still or held with tension inside of our bodies, and bringing movement to those places and perhaps quieting some aspects of our patterns or rhythms that are quite active in our daily life. So we will be playing with rhythm and movement and noticing our habitual rhythms and patterns, and then adjusting in a way that feels nourishing and aligned. I'd like to welcome our guest, Janet Stanley, to unmute herself. Janet will be with us on retreat and hosting a wonderful workshop for us. And it's a great pleasure to have you here with us today, Janet. And I appreciate everyone kind of bearing with me. My rhythm is quite slow today, and I'm noticing my mind is moving slowly, and I'm feeling at ease with that. So I hope everyone else can bear with me in that respect. Janet, I chose this image to put up when you came on because I wanted to ask you about slowing down and creating that space for self-care and self-love and self-nourishment, and how you might correlate that with the healing of our planet at this time.
Okay, thank you, Alicia. I love this image. I love the the painterly piece of the earth over the human body. To me, it makes me think of how as within, so without. So we talked a little bit this afternoon, and the first thing that came to my mind was that anything we do for ourselves that truly is nourishment and genuine self-loving care, self-love, it affects every single person around us, and it certainly also affects the earth, because what we're all coming home to, at least the way I feel about it, is a recognition that we're really all one, and that we're all totally interconnected, and we can't neglect ourselves or hurt ourselves without neglecting and hurting everyone around us, and that includes our beautiful, beautiful Mother Earth, Gaia. And I think that slowing down is a big part of that. I certainly spent a lot of my life suffering from what Oprah calls the busy sickness, and what you hear talk, the whole busy, keep busy, produce. I did that for a lot of years, and it hurt me, and it hurt the people around me too. So the more I learned to slow down and notice and take time to engage and interact and be open to what is there. The universe is so alive, the earth is so alive, and it's trying to communicate with us all the time. But if we're not still enough, if we're not open to receiving, we miss out on a lot of the signs.
Thank you, Janet.
You're welcome.
I also wanted to ask you, and I'm not sure if I said this already. I'm just going to take a breath here. It's been a while since I've been connecting with you friends in this way. Many of you know I was in a collision a few months ago, and it has altered my rhythm and my pace, and I'm noticing how much it is changing the way my brain is firing in a really neat way. So again, I'm just moving a little slowly here and wanting to acknowledge, if I didn't already, that Janet is a transformational energy weaver and creates these beautiful energy weaves and full potential weaves. And Janet will be assisting us on the retreat to create our own energy weaves. So I wanted to ask you about these weaves, Janet, and also about why it might be important to be consciously weaving our life, our future, our moment with intention at this time.
Sure, I'd be happy to do that. For me, I'm very, very involved right now, and have been for quite some time, in this notion of weaving. And it started really innocently by my daughter wanting some dream catchers for her new apartment, but it was also a good example of what happens when we follow the energy and pay attention to what's being put in front of us. And so on one level, I said, oh, no worries, let me save you some money and make you some dream catchers. And on another level, because I was in the right frame of mind, I started sinking into really noticing what it felt like as I was learning how to weave these to me, very beautiful and very sacred kinds of mandalas. And what I started to notice is as I was weaving in the physical world and making something tangible, I was feeling myself coming together. I was feeling the worlds, what I used to call my worlds, coming together. So on one level, I had a visual arts part of my life that felt very separate from a healing arts part of my life, a shamanic path. And then that was even more separate from my family life. And in many ways, that those separations were pulling at me and tugging at me, and they weren't comfortable. And so part of what weaving does to me is it brings the parts of me together. And I've come to think of that over time as bringing the feminine and the masculine together, as bringing the inside and the outside together, and also as realizing that there's a lot of parts to it. When you anchor the sinew onto the metal frame, and then you start to work from there, and you put one bead on here, it looks one way as you're starting, and then when you come back to that place of the mandala and re-anchor, the whole web changes again. So you think you have a pattern going, and it's always changing. And to me, that's just sort of what life is like. When we're paying attention to what the universe is trying to tell us through signs, through animals, through just the things that light up for us, when we notice what we notice is how I think of it, then it's almost like connecting the dots. It's almost like weaving a web, and it's a really engaging, beautiful process. And the image that you're showing right now, the reason I chose it is this is a very complex kind of three-dimensional piece, but I stumbled on these and feel like they are kind of mini examples of the medicine wheel. So there's 4 sides, and they represent the north, south, east, and west, and the medicines of those journeys as well. And the inside part is where the really important part is. And so it relates to the heart. And this is where we're held. We're held and cradled. It becomes a very womb-like space. So it's nourishing. It's a place where we can be safe to dream and to notice, to pull together and be aware of and kind of be inspired and receive all of the ideas that aren't yet in form, and we get to pick and choose. So it's kind of where we get to really notice and then use our free will to choose what it is I want to bring in. And some of it you're going to put in a little parking lot for later, if you're smart, because you can do everything at one time. And some of it you're going to honor with your attention and nourish with your intention, and consciously dream in. And I think it's really, really important to do it consciously, because we're dreaming in all the time, whether we're conscious or not. But when we're not conscious, we're dreaming in sometimes things we don't really want. We're paying attention to things that are worrying us and not things that we really want to bring in. So I think conscious weaving is a really big part of bringing into being this new earth, this new way of being in the world, that I think every one of us is engaged in to some degree or other. And I think that there are many of us that are called to become very conscious and very reverent in the way that we do that, and that there's a big need for this right now, and the world is ready for it. So I'm really excited about it, and I love the idea of sharing the weaving process.
Thank you, Janet. It's so beautiful to hear about how your process with the energy weaves and how they are metaphors for our intentions and our weaving of ourselves together. And I also heard you talk about them as a womb space that holds steady as we evolve and kind of grow with our conscious weaving and our intentions and who we're becoming. So I love that you're going to be on retreat with us, joining us and bringing this wonderful medicine. Thank you for sharing, Janet.
You're most welcome. I'm very excited about it.
Yay.
Opportunity.
Okay, so moving now in a different direction. Here is some circular shape, but now these are bowls that are holding nourishment. I feel it's really important to share that I'm intentionally bringing really what I call clean food. We have a couple of women who will be supporting us by creating very nourishing and delicious food. And everything will be organic. Wherever I can, I'll be sourcing locally. There will be gluten-free, dairy-free, and vegan options with every meal. And I will also mention that part of the prerequisites of the retreat is a fast, a 7-day fast before the retreat begins. And now I'm not talking about food here, although you may choose to abstain from eating refined sugar or some food if you choose to. But this will be something that you sit with for those who are coming along. Maybe it's fasting from the news or the media. Maybe you're fasting, like I said, from some dietary aspect, something in your diet that you might like to try taking a break from. And so we will be doing that as preparation going into this sacred time together, coming together in this way with intention. It doesn't want to let me change here. Oh, there we go. So there will still be sweet treats. There will be green juice and green smoothies, and we'll be nourishing our bodies as best as possible with a variety of colors and textures. There will be some delicious raw desserts like this raw chocolate cake. So we want to enjoy while we're eating and nourishing ourselves really well. We also want to have it be a really sensuous experience with lots of tastes and flavors. So let's move now to a very brief guided visualization. We're going to drop back into our bodies. I need a little drink of water. If you do too, please help yourself. And this dropping deep into our embodied knowing is connecting to some information, and in this case, we're looking for a question, although it might arise as a color or an image or a felt sensation. So if you're someone who feels like you struggle with guided visualizations, you struggle to see, you might be feeling more, then you're welcome to feel also. But we will be coming to the retreat each with our own question, and this will help us work with Source and the universe, spirit, creator, goddess, however you refer to that loving oneness, in shaping our experience. So as we go into this guided visualization, it could be a question such as, what is my focus for the next 10 years? What is the focus of my life for the next 10 years? Or it could be, what is important for me to know at this time? And whether or not you're actually attending this retreat, this information would be useful to you. This question could be an inquiry that you live with for the next week or months, could be for the rest of the year. So just gently closing your eyes or looking down towards the floor if you're not comfortable to close your eyes. Deepening your breath and imagining that there's a circling staircase inside your body. So in that sacred pillar or pathway, the Sushumna way, that pathway of our chakras, imagine there's a spiraling staircase that you're walking down, slowly but surely winding from your head, bringing your presence and awareness, moving down as you circle around your throat chakra. You notice if your throat feels dry at this time, or tight, or maybe very open and expansive. And as you circle around your heart center, noticing how your heart is feeling in this moment. What sensation is there? And you're going to spiral, I'm being guided to spiral us actually deeper into the heart center. So imagining now that there's rings around your heart, almost like layers, and you're walking in towards the heart of heart, the core energy, the core light in the center of your heart. And using your imagination as you walk towards the center, noticing a really bright light. It's almost like a fire in a cave. It's really stands out, shining brightly. And as you come closer to this luminous love, this luminous center, just finding a place to be seated, if you can sit, or just holding your presence here. This flame in your heart. You may imagine making some offering gesture to this flame. Maybe you have a practice of offering tobacco with your prayers, or maybe you bow your head in a namaste as you acknowledge this divine aspect of self. And you're going to listen for this question. What is the question that you are to move forward with? What is the question that you are to linger with at this time? I'm going to play a little bit of my drum here for us. Whatever information you received whether it was a color, a sensation, or you did hear a question, knowing that you'll remember whatever is important to remember from this connecting, and that you can come back here at any time, deepening your breath, becoming aware of the temperature of the air in the room where you are. Beginning to wiggle your fingers and your toes. And if you didn't experience anything at all, if you feel you didn't receive any message, anything at all, just holding with gratitude and trusting that you will receive a sign or a message in the coming days or in your dream time, so pay attention to that as well. When you're ready, you can gently open your eyes. I'm noticing we're a couple minutes over here, so our last couple slides, thank you everyone for being here. I want to show you the place where the retreat is located. So we are in Collingwood in Ontario. Here you can see the Blue Mountains, the Blue Mountain Range. We have a great view. This is not the view from our window, but we do have a great view of the mountains from our 4,500 square foot chalet, where we have lots of room to dance and play and move and craft and rest. And we're a 1 kilometer walk from the lake, from Georgian Bay. And we're a 1 kilometer walk to Blue Mountain Resort Village. And Collingwood's a couple hours drive from Toronto. And this is our retreat home. So we will be settling in here for 4 days, from Thursday till Sunday. And there's a hot tub, as you can see, to help us relax. There's some beautiful trees surrounding us. Nice, simple, clean bedrooms and bathrooms. There's many bedrooms, and I think there's 4 bathrooms, 3 or 4. So this will be our space for the time. And just to conclude, the second poem that I intuitively selected for our retreat to help share the essence, give me some insight about the essence of why are we gathering here? What is why am I being called to lead this retreat at this time? Flesh alone does not determine substance. Your true circumference is measured in light. Stand proud in your radiance. Spread your wings to fill the stage with all the loveliness of your being. The tiny walnut is already a tree. I celebrate the fullness of your light. And that poem comes through Passion Flower, once again from Andrea Matheson's Gaia's Invitation, Poems from the Sacred Earth. Just a note, my guides are kind of poking and prodding me here, and I mentioned a few times that I was feeling slow and thinking slowly, and the importance of that is this is really, it's not just a coincidence that I'm feeling slow during this webinar. It's also that this invitation really is to slow down, to really pause your routine, pause your rhythm, and take a sacred time out. As we experienced with Janet's sharing about the dream weaves, the energy weaves, gathering ourselves together, weaving aspects of ourselves together, taking that time to reflect, to unwind into ourselves, and also almost like distillation through movement and sound. We are processing, I want to say releasing, but that doesn't feel like exactly the right word. We're moving with what is moving inside of us and being present to it. And part of the timing with this retreat of being in spring is that the blossoming, the birthing that is happening all around us, the ripening of the first, fruits and vegetables that are growing. It's a really luxurious time for us to go into our own soil and notice the seeds that are pulsing and glowing inside of us, and which ones want to be nourished and nurtured, and then maybe some of the things that are taking up room in our garden, that old patterns or habits that are ready, almost like weeds that are ready to be pulled to make space for the new. So just taking a moment to feel and just listen in. Notice your body sensations. Is this retreat calling to you? And if you do feel that draw to take 4 days of creativity and connection and dance and delicious food and relaxation, I am offering a $200 discount. So the investment is $11.95. And if you register by this Thursday, we still have our retreat's about half full at this point, so we definitely have room for some more women. Then the full investment would be $9.95, and you can save your spot by going to my website, manifestdance.com. You click on the retreat page, and it's a $250 deposit that reserves your spot, and then you can pay the balance in one whole sum if you like, or if you want to do kind of an installment plan, if that's what works best for your budget. I really want to work with those of you who know in your bones and in your flesh that this is for you. Thank you so much for staying a few minutes longer with me here, everyone. Thank you, Janet, for your sharing, and thank you to Andrea Matheson, who is hosting us here on her Zoom platform. Thank you, Andrea. And I wanted to have time for questions, but I'm feeling that I went a little over. So if you have questions about the retreat, please feel free to email me or give me a call, and I can connect with you about that then. Thank you, everyone. I'm just checking the chat box now. I have some comments here, some thank yous, and some hugs that are being sent around. If you want to type in the chat box, I welcome you to. If you want to say a word or any note to all of the women in circle here. Andrea says, thank you, a lovely slowed time. Tanya says, thank you so much for a beautiful session. Thank you. And so I think I'll stop the recording now, and I will send this recording out within 24 hours to all of you. Janet says, thank you, love and blessings to all. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. That's okay. I'm trying to stop the recording, but my computer doesn't want to.